So, this has been on my mind as of late since Steamboat Willie became public domain. Yeah, also, I'm still not feeling great. As you guys probably remember, I was kind of battling a bug I caught, as I said in the last video. But I'm going to try to power through this because, YouTube algorithm can be a cruel bitch. Anyway. So, yeah. So this is, like I said, this has been on my mind since the whole Steamboat Willie thing, since Steamboat Willie became public domain. And I gotta tell you guys, it's kind of getting old real fast of making it, when the second something goes in public domain, it becomes horror. Now keep in mind, a lot of in public domain stuff is horror. Obviously Dracula, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A lot of it is horror. Let's not get that twisted. A lot of stuff is horror. But I think I think the problem is that Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey really kicked off a whole thing of, let's make horror parodies of something of a childhood. And it just kind of, adds to this whole cynicism that the world's been getting. This cold, cruel cynicism that the world has been feeding off of. Am I getting a little too philosophical? Probably. But that's the thing, is that it's kind of getting old. It got really old real fast because everyone and their mother got really excited at the thought of wanting to make horror out of another Disney property. The thing of it is that people just I understand now that it's kind of a nice bite back at Disney, because Disney for so long the cruel the fun irony, I guess you could say, is that all of Disney's most popular properties like Little Mermaid, Cinderella, Snow White are all in public domain fairy tales, and that's what got them helped them make a $1 billion empire. So I find it fun. I find that funny. I find that funny, and now I get it. People out there want to bite back at a media empire and make it as make something of their own with it. Make something new and different from this, which I understand. But guys, not everything. Oh, excuse me. Not everything needs to be horror. Not everything in public domain needs to be horror. I mean, yes, I know, Bambi, Peter Pan, all of that is in public domain. And I know there's a whole horror universe that Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey has been making. But, when Steamboat Willie became public domain, it just took the fuck off with bad, and I do stress bad, horror movies already being released on the sole ground of, we don't care if it's shit, you're gonna that's what really, this is what also pisses me off, is that there's no, clearly that whole movie Mickey's Mousetrap, that movie looks like garbage, but there's a part of me that's really convinced that the creators of that movie are I don't care if it's low quality, they're gonna watch it anyway, and we're gonna make buku amounts of money because we've made Mickey into a slasher. It's the same thing of why Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey did so well. That movie was fucking garbage, but people went to go watch it anyway because of how well the property was known, and people wanted to see what you could do with a horror property. I mean, making it into a horror property. And that's it, and yeah. And there's also a lot of horror games that are coming out with Steamboat Willie. Some of them look good. I've seen some that look really bad. But the thing of it is like I said before, horror doesn't have, in public domain doesn't equal horror. I think people are limiting themselves with the idea of making Steamboat Willie horror. That's what the whole point of this video is that just because, I mean, it kind of, to quote Dr. Malcolm, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I feel again, like I said before, I feel like we're limiting ourselves with the idea of making this just solely horror. I really want to see someone out there make Steamboat Willie. Like, you could do you could make cartoons with Steamboat Willie. You can do fun animations. Disney can't stop you. You can do children's books with Steamboat Willie. Hell, excuse me. Hell, you can have Steamboat Willie go on like JoJo Bizarre Adventure-esque adventures. That's kind of what I want to do, because next year Popeye goes into public domain, and I don't want to make. I already know that they're going to make him horror, but me personally, I want to make a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure type story with Popeye going on, like call it Popeye's Bizarre Voyages. Like, he's going on all these wild adventures to different islands and whatnot. Yeah. So I really wanted to challenge people out there to be like, yeah, why don't we expand on that? We could make Steamboat Willie, go out into the universe, or he sets sails in the universe, or he fucking goes out into unknown islands and encounters other in public domain characters. The possibilities are endless. It's only limited by a person's imagination. And that's what I really want to see more from people out there. So that's what I'm trying to say here, is that we have Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey systematically, ruin the idea of doing anything else other than let's make a horror thing of a public domain character and do nothing fucking else. That's what really bothers me, is that it that movie stifled everyone's creativity, and it's really annoying, because I know there are authors and creators and writers who would love to take the idea of Steamboat Willie and make it into a fun adventure story, or like I said, a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure kind of thing. I want to see more of that, but that only happens when we when we can take this thing that has been gate kept by this $1 billion corporation for so long, and make it into our own thing. Make it into our own kind of and champion it as our own kind of story. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's really what I've been trying. That's really what I want to get at. But you guys tell me in the comments below. What do you guys think about all this? Just comment below. Let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time, Multiverse.